at the top of the city of Hamilton. I'm very excited to be here today with the Planning Director, Ms. Victoria Cordero, and her team, Mr. Kenny Campbell and Ms. Tanson Durham, and also happy to have the presence of the Minister responsible for the municipalities, the Minister for Public Works, the Honorable Colonel Lieutenant Birch as well, because we are here today to announce the release of the draft City of Hamilton Plan 2023, and it's as a consultative draft, which marks the culmination of a very long process of research and policy development by the Department of Planning. Before going on any further, the public must understand that this document is for consultation at this point. We designed it to allow as much feedback as possible to be received from the public and other important participants and stakeholders around matters concerning the city. Comments received as part of the initial consultation will be used to continue to shape the plan and its progress through the various phases that it must go through before it can be finally adopted. To be clear, this is the earliest stage of the process and the first opportunity to influence the content that is in this document. Therefore, please read the plan alongside all the other supporting information that will be shared with the public as we go on, because we want your feedback. The release of the consultative draft represents a new method of preparing land use plans in our island of Bermuda. We have adopted a three-stage planning making process, creating increased opportunities for meaningful public engagement. Introducing another phase to the consultative process will increase public participation and create a framework that provides greater scope to resolve issues that may arise early in this process. Furthermore, the plan is being released as a non-operative document, meaning that planning applications will continue to be determined by the existing City of Hamilton plan, which was finalized in 2015, until they are fully adopted in law under the new plan. Again, the process helps to ensure that an operative plan will only be in place following a very exhaustive and rigorous consultation process. And we are satisfied that everyone has had an opportunity to contribute. As set out within the accompanying City Survey Report 2023, in preparing this consultative draft, the department collected a wealth of statistical information and conducted detailed analysis of some of the issues currently affecting the city. However, we are also considered worldwide issues such as towns and cities, and issues that many towns and cities face, to identify common trends and lessons that we can learn. The most consistent and unsurprising finding is the seismic shift towards online retailing, which has taken place over the past 20 years, and the crippling effects this has had on the vitality and function of many commercial centers globally. There is widespread global recognition that the long-term viability of town and city centers will require much more retail activity, and some major cities worldwide are fundamentally changing what towns and city centers aspire to be and what they intend to offer the community. We have found that 15% of ground floor properties within the city of Hamilton are currently vacant, with some areas averaging notably higher vacancy levels. There is increased concern about the vacancies on Front Street and Reed Street, which are our prime retail and shopping locations. These trends indicate that the city of Hamilton is impacted by the same issues that many cities and many jurisdictions and town centers around the world are actually facing. It just shows people we are no different than many other parts of the world and what we are going through right now. This consultative draft seeks to play its part in addressing these complex issues in several ways. Firstly, similar to the Northeast Hamilton Local Plan 2022, The plan proposes a discretion-based approach to decision-making. Planning decisions will be made by balancing all relevant policy associated with a particular proposal to reach logical, informed, and balanced decisions. Not only will this provide the decision-making process with enhanced flexibility, but it will also assist in addressing those instances where the department has no recourse and applicants must appeal. A discretion-based system which is fit for purpose and able to pivot and respond quickly to changing circumstances and emerging opportunities is vital to the long-term success of this plan. Of course, we believe the city of Hamilton itself. This system style has been comprehensively tested in other jurisdictions, and whilst we will closely monitor how it functions in Bermuda, we are confident that the decision-making method around this works. I will now provide an overview for some key elements of the plan. The overarching theme of the new plan is placemaking, a broad concept focused on creating places with a sense of identity centered upon the issues that contribute to the human experience of the places. Some key themes of placemaking include prioritizing pedestrian movements, creating distinctive buildings that respond to key features within the surrounding area, and create safe, welcoming spaces through intelligent design and passive surveillance. Another key concept that supports placemaking is ensuring that those who submit design proposals understand the site and its context. Placemaking supports a design-led approach to development, and successful design solutions almost always acknowledge and respond to context. This is vital as a component of the consultative draft plan. We want to move away from the rigid design parameters which have controlled the development of the city and the country for many years, and provide greater architectural freedom to provide exciting designs which add vitality and, frankly, a new breath of life to the city. We must responsibly manage this approach, and with placemaking principles at its foundation, the plans contain all the necessary tools to make this happen. The plan also recognizes that accommodating a more diverse range of uses within the city will enhance its resilience and withstand ongoing economic shocks or uncertain economic shocks. Research shows that outside of bars, restaurants, and cafes, there are very few parameters recreational facilities within the city. Furthermore, the city has minimal permanent structural and artistic uses, which can be a strong draw for tourists and locals alike. Making the city a destination rather than somewhere only visited out of necessity is one key underlying objective of the plan, and focuses on increasing recreational, cultural, and social activities in one way of achieving this. Just one of the ways of achieving this is through this approach to planning. Adopting an informed, flexible, and balanced approach to decision-making as proposed by the plan can help to achieve this in the long run. I also want to recognize the importance of high-quality public spaces to increase investment and make the city a more attractive place for spending time. Outdoor areas largely fall within the Corporation of Hamilton remit, which ensures the city's supportive infrastructure functions effectively. The plan requires developers to show how it can support the corporation's ongoing efforts to enhance the city's look, feel, and function by including a community benefits policy. We have tried to ensure that the underlying ethos of the plan aligns with much of the work being undertaken by the corporation to support the city's economic growth. To that end, the corporation has greatly assisted the Department of Planning in the plan-making process by providing a significant amount of background data and information set out within the City Survey Report 2023. And we are very grateful for the support of the Corporation of Hamilton in this effort. Other elements of the plan encourage investment and development within the city by identifying 4 strategic development sites, which include the waterfront area. The waterfront area has immeasurable potential and, if successfully developed, could be one of the island's finest assets in generating additional economic activity, whilst also being one of the reasons why visitors want to come to Bermuda. While there are limitations to what land use plan can initiate, it remains critical importance that the area is recognized for the potential, and the plan contains strategic guidance on key considerations which should guide any proposals regarding the future development of this area of the city of Hamilton. At present, the site provides for a significant portion of parking in that part of the city, and whilst public parking facilities are vital of any city, this is really underutilization of the waterfront area and something which the plan is supportive of rectifying. On the topic of parking, previous plans have sought to gradually minimize the volume of parking within the city for various reasons, including congestion, dangers of vehicles, exiting buildings, crossing pedestrian sidewalks, and the need to utilize public transportation more to reduce carbon emissions. In the city, almost every street has on-street parking, and the Corporation of Hamilton manages many public parking lots. These lots include Bull's Head, City Hall Car Park, Potterville Park, and Aylard Street Car Park, most of which don't operate at full capacity. Consistent with the placemaking principles, we want to create a greater sense of pedestrian ownership within the city. And while retaining parking facilities within the city is necessary, information collected in support of the new plan suggests that there is an excessive amount of land used for parking. We have even identified instances where buildings are demolished and the vacant lots are used for private commercial parking. This trend must stop, and if we want to support the city's long-term viability and vitality, this plan makes a firmer stance on this very issue. Considerations around climate change are a constant theme of this plan. Through inclusion of strategic climate change policy, supportive active travel, requiring sustainable designs and construction techniques, protecting the city's green spaces, promoting renewable energy, ensuring flood risk is appropriately managed, and highlight the role of landscaping can play in providing natural adaptation measures. The plan also introduces the concept of requiring energy statements to be associated with development proposals. Energy statements will ensure document evidence demonstrating that applicants fully considered the energy needs of the proposed development and took steps to minimize those energy needs through design and exploring the use of renewables with the commercial developments and developments within the city. As stated in the consultative draft, is supported by the City Survey Report 2023, and I strongly encourage anyone interested to read the plan alongside this document to provide a better understanding of the information used to shape its policy direction. The plan and all associated information are available on the Department of Planning's website at www.planning.gov.bm. I'll repeat that again, www.planning.gov.bm. Any comments can be submitted to the department at cityplan@gov.bm. Also, the option of responding to a questionnaire embedded within the story map version of the plan is available via the department's website. The questionnaire is designed to garner feedback and key policy issues. This first consultation phase will run from today, the 20th of January, until the 24th of March, 2023. Following the conclusion of this consultation phase, the department will review all feedback and prepare a draft plan. Upon completion, this plan will be widely publicized, providing an additional opportunity for comments to be submitted. Further details will be provided further as we enter that successive phase. Given that this plan makes a significant change to the process of content to previous land use plans, we wanted to do something fun and different to raise awareness and generate debate about the plan and the placemaking concept. Therefore, in support of the plan, we will be holding a placemaking design competition. To participate, any individual or organization must use the placemaking and design guiding principles from within the plan to present a development concept for one or more of the strategic development sites identified within the plan. A winner will be selected for each of the 4 sites. Complete details are available at, again, www.planning.gov.bm. Or I'm sure you can call the department if you can get online. I know some people may be interested who maybe aren't as internet savvy. They can call the department and get guidance on how they can participate. I want to now acknowledge the hard work that this government department, the Department of Planning under my ministry, and all the team have taken in getting this plan to the stage. And again, I encourage anyone interested to submit your feedback. If you require further information or want to talk to someone about the plan, of course, don't hesitate to call the department and somebody will be happy to discuss it with you. And with that, I wish to thank everybody for being here and everybody listening, and I'm happy to take, and myself and the team to take questions. Well, as I said, March, it starts today until March 23rd, March 2023, as I stated in the statement. So that's how long it will be. So it's about 3 months or more. And that is the time period that this phase will actually commence. I can pass on to one of the team to talk about that, but as we stated, that the waterfront is an opportunity. There are no fixed plans. As you know, over the years, there have been many proposals around plans about the waterfront. None of those are incorporated into this, but this is a plan. This is a consultative draft. It is for people to give ideas. If somebody has an idea about the waterfront, they can submit it. But the waterfront is not specifically of changing the use of some of the major components of the waterfront. As you know now, is a major receiving port for a considerable amount of the country's containers and supplies. That is not at this point under any change, but the future may mean something different, but that will be up to persons other than myself to decide, and that will be clearly something that the plan can look at or certainly entertain consideration if someone has an idea about that. I'll let the director or maybe Mr. Campbell or one of our other team deal with that specific detail.
Thank you for the question. Yeah, the plan's supportive of additional residential development in the city, particularly from a sustainability perspective. Obviously, the city has a lot of, the city benefits from a lot of existing services and amenities, and from a sustainability perspective, it's good to have a dense residential population to take advantage of those services. So it's very supportive of that use. No, there are no numbers. It's just generally supportive of that form of development within the city.
Yes. This plan contemplates, I can say, we will leave it up to, it is a consultative draft, but we will leave it up to those who give feedback to present ideas that might go beyond existing parameters. As I said in the beginning, this is to break the mold. This plan is to begin the process of breaking the mold that the city has traditionally been, I guess, constrained to. And that includes height, that includes different types of development, that includes uses of buildings. It is prepared to accept ideas around all those different ideas. So yes, subject to the appropriate, I guess, feasibility, any type of proposal can be entertained in this draft consultation.
Could I just provide some additional details?
Sure. Yeah.
There is an
You
additional.
go right up to so
Sorry.
I can hear you.
There is an additional appendix within the plan which provides design guidance, and it does recognise that historical policy position, which was the 138 metres, I think it is, above ordnance datum for containing heights within the city. So that is recognised as a piece of design guidance, but it's not in there as fixed policy in the same way that the existing plan approaches that issue.
The city does have quite a few empty lots at the moment. Is there anything in the planning proposals that perhaps might encourage people to use them as green spaces while plans are in development?
As we said, we certainly endorse greening of the city, and as I stated in the statement, we have to entertain proposals that embrace climate change and being responsive to long-term environmental considerations. So if somebody wishes to potentially change or provide a change to a space that might green it up, whether it be with renewable energy or adding more environmentally friendly features, perhaps they want to put more trees in their development or perhaps convert that, put more of those features to a development, that will of course be something that will be welcome. And I certainly, as the Minister for the Environment, entertain any opportunity to green any part of Bermuda more than she already is.
I know in other cities, when it comes to empty buildings, some have done things to encourage there to be temporary art galleries in the meanwhile as more permanent occupancy. Is there anything in planning that can be done to encourage that sort of thing?
As we said, this is meant to break the mold. So mixed use of some commercial spaces that might have traditionally been developed for just office space are things that are welcome to be considered. So this is to change that. And we know that in many cities around the world, mixed use of commercial areas is something that's been welcomed because it does advance the use of a space. It advances human traffic, it advances vitality. We know of plenty parts of many major cities that we know of where they've changed almost derelict spaces into great usable spaces for different things because they've changed the use of those historic buildings even, and they've made them into everything that you can imagine in places like lower parts of New York, the Docklands in London. We know of spaces where this has been done. And we're not a massive city like that, but we're a smaller city that can entertain similar consideration.
One thing that has been discussed in past years has been pedestrianization location. Can you say is that something that is considered in this plan?
It's a draft, consultative draft. I think if anybody reads, there will be discussion of that point of more pedestrianization. I mentioned that in the statement. It's something that clearly will advance more human use and more vitality in certain areas, and perhaps moving traffic from certain parts of the city will actually advance more activity in other ways. So pedestrianization, which has been talked about in some areas of the city, certainly I would welcome, and we would welcome people giving ideas on that.
Finally, one of the issues that has been discussed fairly often is obviously getting people into the city as residents. Many of the things that are what more can be done to encourage people to move into the city?
Well, as Mr. Campbell just mentioned, this plan welcomes additional proposals for residential development in the city. I know there are people interested in that. We know we've seen a number of projects in recent years that have brought more residential occupation to the city. And certainly some of these lots that have been leveled and have parking lots, perhaps that's where some of the residential opportunities can be if people wish to contemplate it. One of the things, if I can just segue to the North Hamilton proposal, the Northeast Hamilton proposal, is that we welcome, even in that space, though it has some different issues that are looking to be, because that's why we've specially sort of have its own plan, is we welcome residential opportunities in all parts of the city that can advance vital presence of the city. Right now, Hamilton is pretty much a commercial space. It goes to sleep after 5 with some activity, but not the vitality that we potentially can have if we can bring more residential opportunities to the city that like across the board, that everybody can enjoy and benefit from. Because if you have people living in the city, that just creates more needs for those persons who live there that can be positive to the use of the city, to the security of the city, to the safety of the city, to the care of the city. So we welcome those proposals going forward.
And you have the consultation period. Is there any idea as to when this plan might be able to finish?
I'll let the director or one of the other teams speak to that.
Good afternoon. I just wanted to make one point to your question just before this new one. The whole premise behind placemaking is to create a city that draws persons to visit, not out of necessity, but more because they want to. Because, you know, with the policies that you will find once you go into our website and visit the plan, because I'm really encouraging you to do that, we want to ensure that people have a welcoming environment in which to submit new and different proposals for things such as you mentioned, like art galleries and, you know, different kind of cultural uses as well. Because that's what we need to do, is we need to generate the footfall. Because once you generate that footfall, then you have more likelihood of persons, you know, visiting retail establishments, bars, restaurants, etc. So that is really the central theme for this entire plan is placemaking, and it's to do exactly what you just asked about. Now, in terms of time frame, again, we have a very helpful visual on the website that discusses like the proposed timeline for the eventual adoption of a final plan for the City of Hamilton. The first phase, as the Minister has discussed, is the most important because it's this feedback that will help us finalize the content for what is the draft plan. And it's that draft plan, which you will have seen for the Bermuda plan, where we invite persons to submit objections during the legislated formal objection process. And that typically we'll discuss, but there's a legislated time frame involved with that. And then once the department has had the opportunity to review any objections that are received and representations, because of course we could get letters of support of the plan and its policies. So once we've gone through that process, then we'll move to final adoption. So there is a legislative process, but this, as the statement indicated and explained, is that this is something new that we're trying. Before we get to reach a draft stage, we want to first get a feel for what the public think about what we've put together, because as the Minister mentioned, this is a very different plan, and we're excited to see how the public view it. Thank you.
Well, I think that's a very good question, sir, because one of the things about revitalizing a city is that you want to not only address those at one end, you want to also make the city appealable to all its citizens, even those who clearly, some of the people who find this, who you're talking about, find the city a safe haven for themselves during the day. So we don't want them to feel that they have to go anywhere with all these changes. So I'm certain with the support of Public Works, as you know, the Minister for Municipalities is here. Those are issues that he's thinking about, and that as we make these changes, we will make sure that the city is welcome for all of Bermuda's residents so they can feel safe, even those who may not are part of the normal life of the city and its commercial activity, but those who need a safe place, a safe, hospitable, welcoming place that even those persons who you speak about will feel that they're a part of this. We're not trying to exclude anybody. We want to make the city vital for everyone. Sure. Well, that's a part of the ongoing work now with the city, with making, as you can see, sidewalks more accessible for those who are physically impaired. I do believe that you'll probably see more, and that's a matter that you can speak to potentially the Minister for Public Works about plans that the city may have to advance usage of other persons. Some features that will advance the use by people who are sight impaired and also hearing impaired as well. I've seen some interesting features with cities all over the world as well that helps to accommodate their use as well. So we have to include that in this. But these are some of the ideas that we will welcome, that those out there who will look at the draft, if they find gaps in these areas, we welcome their ideas so that we can advance those features as well. But I know that that's an ongoing issue, whether it be making the city accessible to the physically hearing and sight impaired, or even a smart city approach that can make all of our use much more easier, is a part of the goal going forward. If there are no more questions, I'd like to just finalize by saying thank you for everybody for being here, but thank you to the team under the leadership of the director and everyone who's here. I'd like to thank the presence of Senator Lindsay and Minister Birch for being here. This is a very important plan for the island as a whole, not just the city. So we look forward to the public feedback, and I know they're looking forward to hearing the thoughts of everyone on this. Thank you very much.